But thank you all for coming. It's so great to be back. Yeah, a year and a half in the field. You see the community again in this space. So I'm in the point of finishing up fieldwork, and this is the first presentation that I'm doing of very, very preliminary data. So my idea was to share this with you, but also get as much critique feedback as possible as I prepare to write my dissertation. So yeah, if you can all help me with that, any questions or points that are not clear that I can work on to prepare for writing, and other reviews from other people, it would be great. So today I'm gonna present just an overall of my research, but I'm gonna focus on one of the chapters, which is gonna come up first. And it happens to be the second chapter, but I'm sorry, a little more about that later on. So I'm gonna briefly explain my motivations to work on this subject of my dissertation. Then I'm gonna go a little in depth into the TIPNIS study. Some of you might be familiar with, but some of not. Then I'm gonna outline my research questions, and then I'm gonna focus on one of my chapters, methods, data, and preliminary results. And hopefully I'll quickly time for discussions and questions and answers. So first of all, as you all know, probably because you're part of the TCP community, in the 1990s there have been more indigenous rights in different countries' legislation. And Bolivia is not the exception. In 2009, we had a new constitution enacted, which is actually very progressive in terms of its recognition of indigenous rights. And one of the rights that it recognizes is the right to territorial autonomy. Very briefly, it is described in the Constitution as self-government and the exercise of free determination. So right there, you have different concepts: self-government, autonomy, free determination, that are intended of autonomy. And further pieces of legislation try to clarify that, but it's still a very broad concept that is open for interpretation. And different actors have views. But besides this step forward in the legislation, there is still on the ground a lot of challenges for the implementation of territorial autonomy, both within the legal framework, but also in the practice. So almost 10 years after the enactment of the Constitution, there's only 3 territories that have indigenous governments in office now. They have gone through all of the steps of the legal recognition of their autonomy, which has become a bureaucratic bureaucracy. It's so hard. It has so many steps, and it involves oversight by different government agencies in every step of the way. So something that was supposed to enhance local decision-making has become pretty much a state-led process. And there are further and further restrictions on the scope of the autonomy, the possibility for indigenous populations to enact different development models than what they put forward by the state. So there are all of these challenges, and there are also a lot of conflicts, socio-environmental conflicts between the state and the people. And the TIPNIS, which is Indigenous Territory National Park where I work, has been the scenario of one of the most high-profile in Bolivia in the past decade. And I don't have time to get details and development of the whole conflict, but basically the government has a project to make a road that goes right across the territory, and I'm going to show you some maps later. And some of the indigenous population that inhabit the territory are fiercely opposed to the road, and it has led to violent conflict, repression by police forces, totally fake consultation process, demands on the international level, and that pose a lot of layers within the conflict that are still ongoing. Just a week ago, the International Tribunal for Rights of Nature of which Alberto Acosta is one of the members. I think he went even a court here a year ago. They sanctioned the Bolivian government for this project, which is big in Bolivia because Bolivia was one of the countries that helped the tribunal come to be 10 years ago. So this is kind of the stage where all of this is unfolding. And my motivation to work deeper into what does autonomy really mean. So my main objective is to contribute to the understanding of both indigenous people and the state conceptions of autonomy, and particularly in what pertains to natural resource governance. It's so broad that one has to focus on one aspect of autonomy. And so I'm trying to compare different conceptions from different actors, across actors and within actors too. So now I'm gonna explain you a little more about the case. I'll give you some context, but just so you know where it is, this is Bolivia, and this is where the TIPNIS is located. So it's in the tropical Andes. So it's a hotspot of biodiversity, but it's also one of the huge end of the region. There's the Chocó in Colombia, and this region in the coast of South America. So it's very important in terms of biodiversity, hydrology, and production of rain for the rest of the year. There it is. That's the TIPNIS, heart-shaped, in the heart of Bolivia. And it comprises 3 different biomes, biomes in Spanish. So there's a 3,000-meter altitude in the park. These are the floodable savannas of Mojos, which are in the southern beginning of the Amazon, the Andes foothills, and the Subandian mountain range. Most of the communities in the park are located downriver towards the northeast of the park, and there are 3 different ethnic groups that inhabit it. So there are the Mojeño Trinitarios, Yuracares, and Chimanes. Chimanes are a little further up in the altitudinal gradient, and the other 2 ethnic groups are sort of mixed in where the most communities are, in the populated area of the park. And in that other map, you can see that since 2002, there is a co-management plan of the area with an internal zoning, with different possibilities of use. Because this is an indigenous territory, but it's also a national park. So it's co-managed by the indigenous organizations and the service of protected areas. So there are zones where people can crop and can hunt and fish and extract some non-timber forest products. There are other areas where they can just harvest but they cannot crop, and there are in red the areas of high conservation value where they cannot perform this activity. It's just conservation. So here is the map where you can see the planned road right across the middle, and some of the pressures surrounding the project. So as you can see, if you look back to this map and the road project, it would go right across the high conservation, the areas that are meant for conservation and the most well-preserved areas. And it's kind of far away from the community, so they don't really benefit from it because they have to travel upriver for days to get to the road. So it's easier for them to go to the closest market. And here you can see that there are oil exploration projects on the Andean foothills. And that I've just mapped here the ones that concern the TIPNES, but that is true for most of Bolivia's Andean foothill area. There are timber concessions in the north who have been recently reversed. So we're seeing what they came to an end. So now we're going to see what happens with the plants. There is a colonization area in the south, and those are settlers that came from the highlands in the 80s, and they're growing coca plantations. And they are actually pushing inside the TIPNES because they use all the area they can use from coca with their the areas that they have available, so they want to go forward. And that is one of the biggest pressures for the construction of the road. So within this very hopeful scenario, my research questions are how in paper and in practice, how indigenous autonomy evolved since the peak of the indigenous movement in the 80s, or the consolidation of the indigenous movement from 1987 roughly to now. And how can we create some indicators to understand that? That's the first question. The second question is, how do people in the TIPNIS understand autonomy? What does it mean for them? And particularly in terms of natural resource governance, making out the resources they have in their territory and how do they use that territory and their livelihoods. And my third question is, how and to what extent do state and independence of territory differ, and how that influence conceptions? So that third question has a lot to do with neo-extractivism and the whole political ecology literature and broader reflections on how the state is portraying territory as a national reserve or generating income. People have a more local perspective of what territory for them as a place for the territory, culture, and lives. So now we're going to focus for this presentation on this question. So the second chapter, how do people of the TIPNIS understand indigenous, and particularly in terms of natural resource governance? And I'm going to start with an anecdote from my fieldwork. So this is my friend, I'm going to call him Ignacio, that's not his real name, but for purposes. Okay. So I was traveling with Ignacio and he was taking his community that is very far away. And he was just, carving little animals, doing his thing. And he looks, to me, it all looks the same, right? It's green and trees. And he's like, do you see those lagoons over there? I'm like, yeah, but yeah. And he told me they're ancient towns. And I'm going to quote from, so I started recording him and I transcribed what he said. And he said, our grandparents say these lagoons are autonomous towns with their own administration. The water people live there. They can leave the water and enter the town. They can talk to the dead. On cloudy days, you can see cattle emerging from the lagoon to graze. We've always had cattle here, enchanted cattle. Unfortunately, we can't communicate with other people as we're used to. And I found that in this quote, because he mentioned autonomy, he knew I was working on that, so he thought it would interest me, and I don't know how much he tweaked the anecdote just to grab my attention, but it speaks to a lot of different things. So you have these towns, these enchanted towns of Asian people who have their own administration, their own government, their own thing going on there autonomously. There is cattle, which implies their dream of prosperity. There is also talking to the dead, so the identity and the trajectory of an ethnicity in relation to their history. There's, at the end, we cannot talk to them as our ancestors used to. So that shows change in how the present is not as ideal as the past used to be. So there's memory, and I just started getting very confused. Like, how am I going to approach this very complex concept of autonomy? And that's why I kind of changed my approach from only focusing on natural resources to try to have a broader embrace of autonomy, and then how natural resources will work on the process. So the methods I used for my whole dissertation, but they're pretty much all in this chapter, is archival research, in-depth semi-structured interviews, communal workshops, participant observation, and Q sorting. And in this presentation, I'm going to focus on the Q sorting exercise. So what I did, are you all familiar with Q sorting? So Q sorting is when you give people a set of objects. It can be text, it can be pictures, it can be drawings, it can be objects, whatever you want, and you ask them to rank them and answer to a question according to their preferences. So you usually have a matrix like this. This is one that I use. In my case, I use 29 different tables, but you can have as little or as many as you want, and you can pretty much design the shape of the matrix as you want. It's usually a quasi-form distribution, and when you ask people to rank on this side, you have, say, you ask what's your favorite ice cream. Here you would have the most favorite. And as you go towards the middle, where you have more options, neutral, different flavors. So it's a bit artificial because you don't necessarily have exact number of flavors that you like and number of flavors that you don't like. You have to make the best you can to answer according to their perceptions. So to find the statements that I wanted to use, my question is, what does autonomy mean to you? I wanted to put different ideas on what people, how people think about autonomy. So I did a preliminary field work with interviews, and from that I gathered different types of answers, and I selected 29 of those. And then I worked with an illustrator to put those in drawings, because a lot of people don't read and write. It makes it more fun. Yeah, if it doesn't text. And even with people who are literate, I think having the drawing has like made a difference. So I have them here, and if I can pass them around, there are 29 of the drawings, and I have another set which is like so I collected data in 5 different communities, and I got 45 answers. I have a couple more that were not totally reliable. And then I also did, during the workshops, one exercise where I would separate people in groups, like younger women and older women and men, and make a collective sort, which is what I have 2 sizes, the bigger one workshops. And that data I still don't really know how to use, because I think it was a very nice exercise to get the conversation going. So there are a lot of group dynamics that were involved there that I don't know if they make the data usable. I had to run it and see what I get. And I also did the same exercise with experts, including Indigenous leaders that live in the city, and also scholars and extension agents who have worked in the region for a long time. And that data I also need to analyze now and compare it to what I get from Indigenous. And so our expectations of autonomy are really different for themselves.
Just a quick detail. So the 45 answers, 5 communities you mentioned, Native people. Do you need that across Native people?
Good question. I actually was able to work only with 2 Mohenio, and because the Chimanis, I intended to do communities 2. I was unable to work with Chimanis for political reasons, so divided. But because I had already worked with some folks, and yeah, and they're also very isolated from the other groups geographically, but also politically and culturally. It would have been very interesting, and I still hope some people to go to those communities. For this project, I just at some point I focus on Mohenio and Yurapari communities. And these are the 5 communities that I visited. So that's the Sequoia River on the top, and this is the Isiboro River. So those are the 2 that make the borders of the territory. That's what Isiboro. And San Ramoncito and Concepción de Lichoa are the most isolated ones. So from Trinidad, which is a little further north, to San Ramoncito, it's 7 days upriver. And from Gundonovia, which is the first community in the city, it's still 5 days upriver. So it's huge. And in terms of access, yeah, these people have to go across huge distances to see one another and to sell their products and to go pick up this. And on the Secure River, that's more compact, and to Nueva La Sea, which is almost up, it's like 3 days. So these are a couple pictures of the queue sorting exercise both within the focus groups with a lot of people, but I'm on level 2. And these are some of my preliminary results. So now I'm just going to show you what I found from those 45 interviews with Indigenous people in their communities. Individually. I used PQ method to do the analysis. It's a free software. There are tutorials on YouTube, really easy to use. And the soundest model that I got to explain 58% of the variance has 3 factors, which are, the factors are like type answer. So you enter all of your answers, and the analysis gives you, you can choose with 2, 3, up to 7 different types of answers, and then you can compare them to see which is more sound. So these type answers are a type matrix. So that would have been how this factor would have ranked all 29 statements. And then you can do further analysis. Between factors, what are the statements that they have in common, that are ranked pretty much the same, or the ones that differ, and you can do other layers of analysis. So what I'm trying to do now is to characterize each of those 3 type answers. And here is factor 1, that the differentiating statements that differentiate this type of answer from other type of answer are very much related to indigenous autonomy as the reproduction of culture. So here, for example, is this statement and drawing of recover and preserve more culture and spiritual life is ranked first type of answer. And all of the others that I highlighted in yellow are also differentiated that relate to that idea of culture, very important for how they conceive autonomy. Factor number 2 is characterized by statements that are more related to relations with the state and self-governance and having, so for example, the one that I highlighted is strengthen our defense of the territory so that external people can sack resources. But there is also how our authorities recognize, strengthening the criminal justice. So there is like a thematic theme, valga la redundancia. Factor 3, this one is a little less clear cut, but the differentiating statements I think are more related to market integration, like indigenous autonomy as the possibility to decide ourselves to migrate or to sell our products or to have other actors come in to the territory. So this one that I highlighted is, for example, be able to transport and sell our products at a fair price. But there is also like having the payment person for environmental service statement still ranked pretty low, but much higher than in other answers. So there's a lot of analysis that I need to do still. So this is one layer, characterizing type answers and how do people are answering differently. But the other that I want to do is also track specific statements that are more related to natural resource governance and see how they do in general, but also within these factors. So those are the ones that I'm putting red, the ones that I have like special interest in, and they relate to management plans, maybe signing contracts for an external resources, or exploit the resources ourselves, but with no management plan. Those are kind of ranked differently also between factors, even though the difference was not as important for the software by it as differentiate one type answer from the other. So yeah, there's a lot of different analysis that you can do with this method, and that's pretty cool. So I also did a very basic statistical analysis, considering, so I had these 45 answers, And I also have characteristics of the people who answer that, like who they were, like they're male or female, the age, the community, ethnicity. So I entered different variables to try to identify what is important predicting if your answer is going to be in one factor or the other. And the most important factor that my results are showing as of now is age. So there is some gender and there is some which group they belong to, but the most important one is age, and that actually does not surprise me. I mean, it surprised me. It would have surprised me when I first entered the field, but not now. I was expecting when I started that gender would be all of it, but in fact, yeah, there is a lot of generational change related things going on. And that's what I want to focus on for my discussion for the chapter. And I think it opens up a broader discussion, and it's not just happening in music, on the tip of the peak of the environmental movement was probably at the end of the 90s, turn of the century, in terms of their organization and recognition by state authorities and international community, also projects. There is it's pretty recent past, so there's a generation that was part of all that, and that was in the first mobilization, and were part of the first directory board of implementation and so forth. And there's a younger generation now taking authority charges that don't have a connection to history, because it seems to me that there has been a problem in transmitting. You ask people in community, like, what was the march of 1990 all about? They're like, yeah, there was a march, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was important for the people. I don't know details. Important at national scale. That's a big part of our memory. Right? People in cities know about that. So I'm wondering what happened there. And there's a problem in the political education generation. And yeah, so I have a couple of points there. So young people also have few options to generate income. And that's especially true since the conflict, because all of their potential, for example, Gators camp, that's being prohibited by the government, a way to just strangle them economically. And the organizations are so divided that a lot of those endeavors that were, slowly starting to stop are totally. So the options, and there was like huge flood, and during the conflict years, people mobilized to march, and also there's an accumulation of factors that have pushed people out of the territory, especially young people. And the options they had is going to harvest or grow coca, sell timber, or work for the government, and they would just build schools without professors. Or that's why I call it AstroTurf, or just help build soccer fields in the country with AstroTurf, which makes no sense at all. So yeah, there's all that happening, and I kind of want to steer the discussion towards that. And as a way to go back to that first anecdote that I mentioned to you guys, is like, how can we go back to talk to the people of the one they feel like they have disconnected from the past or the idea they have of the past. So how can we generate more dialogue with patients or process of joint making very separated? And that is it. Maybe that was abrupt.